Hey guys, it's Cynthia the Fishing Mommy. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is really important to me personally, why I chose the Hobie Mirage Drive kayak as the best pedal kayak for my injured knees. And I've actually seen a lot of discussion about this on some of the kayaking boards and groups that I'm in on Facebook and elsewhere. And that is, what is the best pedal drive kayak for someone with knee problems?
And I can pedal this boat for 6 to 8 hours in a day without any ill effects at all. My knee doesn't swell, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't puff up. I am so happy that I made this choice.
The reason this is important to me is that just about 20 years ago, I had a pretty severe skiing accident and really messed up my right knee. I've had an ACL replacement as well as an LCL and MCL repair and complete resurfacing of the meniscus. Unfortunately, I've had several follow-up surgeries as well. And so my right knee has really been through it. It has a lot of problems for many years. I really wasn't able to walk long distances at all. I really wasn't able to do much exercising at all. And because it's been almost 20 years since that injury, I've had to compensate a lot with my left leg because of the weakness in my right leg. Here, I'm going to cut to some time on the water when I was talking about this injury and why I chose the Outback and how I'm doing with it.
So when I started evaluating pedal kayaks, I was very concerned about this because honestly, at the time, I really wasn't able to walk for a full day of events with my family, like if we went to an amusement park or, you know, apple picking or something like that. I'd have a hard time being on my feet that whole day. I'd have a lot of swelling and pain in my knee, and it really restricted my ability to do things. When I was evaluating pedal drive kayaks, I knew that it was very important to get one that I would be able to use and that would be comfortable for me. And honestly, the most I hoped for was something that wouldn't cause me a lot of pain. The first pedal kayak I demoed was actually the bicycle drive type, which is the most common type of pedal drive that you see. That's a great system for a lot of types of fishing and for a lot of people. However, for me, I found that I could really only do about 30 to 45 minutes of that kind of bicycle motion before my knee started to blow up and swell and become extremely painful. Then I found out about the Hobie pedal drives, the Mirage Drive. I couldn't believe how fluid and natural the motion was. What surprised me was I had no impact at all in my knee. My knee was completely fine, life changer as far as my fishing experience, my ability to get out and be more active, and certainly, you know, my enjoyment of my time on the water. The price really was such a factor for me, as it would be for just about anybody. But I saved and I got creative. I actually sold something that I owned in order to buy this kayak, and let me tell you something. It was the best decision that I've made in a really long time. I am so happy that I made this choice. I absolutely love my Hobie. I absolutely love the Mirage Drive. And I can pedal this boat for 6 to 8 hours in a day without any ill effects at all. My knee doesn't swell, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't puff up, and I certainly feel better. So that's my experience actually choosing and using my Mirage Drive kayak from Hobie. So far I've been kayaking today for 5 hours, and I've been moving around most of the time. So I've been pedaling, I wouldn't say constantly, but probably about 70% of the time I've been using my legs to pedal, and my knee is feeling great. No problem at all. Feels strong. I'm able to get, you know, normal extension. And another thing I wanted to mention about Hobie for people with knee issues is that the pedal drive is completely adjustable. from 1 to 7. So no matter what your leg length or your position in your seat or your preference from day to day even, you can change anywhere from 1 all the way up to 7. And the Hobie seat, it doesn't move back and forth, but you can adjust it height-wise in several settings, I think 3 settings, and the back of the seat actually is infinitely adjustable because it moves on a set of bungees that are on the side. I'll actually try to record that when I'm getting off the water so I can put that video right here for you and you can see the seat adjustment. Okay, so you can adjust these side bungees by pulling this lever back here. And you can do that when you're in the seat as well. And then there's also a lumbar support, which is right here. And the various positions of the seat. Right now it's in the high position. You can see these feet are up on these little ledges. And then you can pull this ripcord and it goes down into the low position. And that looks like this. So with the ability to adjust both the seat and the pedals, I think that you're going to be able to find a position that works for your specific knee and your specific body. And even throughout the course of a day, if you're noticing a feeling of stress at all on your knee, then you can always adjust the back of your seat or adjust your seat position from high to low or to the medium position, or you can adjust the pedal setting. I actually switch from 2 to 3 fairly regularly on my pedal drive. Just depends on how I'm feeling that day, whether I want to sit back and relax a little bit more, whether I want to sit forward a little bit more. And even throughout the course of a day, sometimes when I get tired, I move the pedals a little closer to me to shorten the amount of stroke that I need to do. So these are just all little tips from one person with bad knees to another. The second part of this video is going to be talking about why the Mirage Drive system is so much better for people who do have sensitive, weak, or injured knees.
Okay, so now for part 2. Why is it that the Mirage Drive is better for people with sensitive knees? A lot of this is my opinion, but it's based on some, number one, personal experience. As I said, I've been spending lots and lots of hours out on the water, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours at a time, generally speaking, and a lot of types of bodies of water where I'm constantly pedaling. I'm not just going to a spot, dropping anchor, fishing, and then moving sporadically. I'm pretty much always moving. As a matter of fact, I don't even bring an anchor with me the vast majority of the time. So it's really active pedaling for 6 to 8 hours at a time. I've also done some research into reminding myself what kind of physical therapy I was prescribed when I had my surgeries, and then some of the science behind why physical therapists prescribe certain activities. What I came to realize is that I was doing a motion with the Mirage Drive very, very similar to these exercises that are prescribed by physical therapists when you have a knee injury. So I'm going to be interspersing some video clips that I do not own, but I'll credit the owner because they're demonstrating the particular motion that I'm talking about regarding knees. Range of motion is the most important thing that you're trying to get back after you have a knee injury or knee surgery. As you're flexing and extending your knee joint, that's your range of motion, right? So you know, when you're in a sitting position, your knee is going to be like this, flex like this, and then full extension would be like this. And then of course when you're standing and walking, you've got motion like this. So range of motion, recovering your knee to the point where you can move all the way through those various ranges of motion without pain and swelling, that's the key that you're trying to get to. Look at a lot of the exercises that physical therapists will prescribe for somebody who's in knee rehab. Flexion, which is this, obviously, the flexing of your knee joint, is one of the most important things. And if you think about the motion of pedaling a Mirage Drive kayak, basically all you're doing is very gently pedaling and pushing, flexing your legs so that they're never extending all the way out where you're locking your knee. They are gently flexing and extending. No resistance to the pedaling motion, which means that there's no impact at all on your joint. I'm just going to read off a list here of the ones that I see most commonly prescribed, which I also did when I was in physical therapy following my knee surgeries. There's the hamstring stretch, and that looks like this. There's calf stretch, and a lot of times they'll use a towel. Of course, as I discussed a minute ago, knee extension, which is pushing that knee joint all the way out. Then there's a leg press to about 30 degrees. Now this one's interesting because this is really very similar to a Mirage Drive motion, but you notice it's not a leg press all the way out, it's a leg press to about 30 degrees. If you've got your pedals set correctly on your Mirage Drive, this is almost exactly the motion that you're doing when you're pedaling a Mirage Drive kayak. Other things I kind of want to talk about is the difference between pedaling a Mirage Drive kayak and pedaling a bicycle motion kayak like you would see in a lot of the other major brands of pedal drives. When you're in physical therapy after a knee injury and or operation, your physical therapist actually waits for several weeks to institute any sort of bicycling motion for therapy. As a matter of fact, when they do start the bicycle, they're telling you 5 to 10 minutes max on very, very light pressure, like basically no resistance for 5 minutes, and that is it. So obviously that motion, while it's great to have the extension and the flexion of the knee, that particular motion has a defined start and end point, which does give it some resistance. That's happening with your knee as you're pedaling. They don't even recommend that you move up to 15 minutes or more of the bicycle motion until you're at least 7 or 8 weeks into your recovery, what's normally called phase 3 in your physical therapy recovery, before you even get to 15 minutes of bicycle motion. To me, that means that if you've got weak knees or damaged knees, that bicycle motion is not going to be ideal for you. When you're pedaling the Hobie Mirage Drive, it's non-impact, it's low resistance, it's working your quads, so really you are performing physical therapy on weaker knees. And here is some more footage of me pedaling my kayak to show you just how effortless this is, and you can actually even see all the scars on my knees, so you know I'm telling the truth about all these surgeries. But listen, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any kind of weak knees, sensitive knees, injured knees, obviously you want to speak with your doctor or your physical therapist prior to starting any kind of exercise program. This is not intended as medical advice in any way. This video is meant to be an example of my experiences and why I chose the Hobie Mirage Drive kayak as the best pedal kayak for my injured knees. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please put them down in the comments, and definitely share this video with any friends and family you think might benefit from it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you later.